CQ RAYNET, this is G4NRC, Golf 4 November Romeo Charlie, operated today by Greg, Golf 0 Delta Uniform Bravo, serving as net control for the RAYNET-UK weekly activity net. This net meets each Sunday afternoon at 1600 hours local time and is open to all amateur radio operators interested in emergency communications. The primary purpose of the net is to provide the opportunity for members to test equipment, exchange and use opinions and information, with additional information available on the RAYNET-UK website at www.raynet-uk.net. This is a directed net, which means all calls are to be made to the net control station unless you are instructed otherwise, and all RAYNET-UK operators are invited and encouraged to check into the net. When you do check in, please announce your call sign slowly and phonetically, followed by your name, and if you wish to leave the net immediately after checking in, then please call in and out. Otherwise, if you want to leave after subsequent turns, then please make it clear you want to check out at that time. After I've heard a few check-ins, I'll repeat how I've heard. If you're not acknowledged, then please do try again. If you miss your turn to call in, I will call for any strays at the end of the UK or international sections. So I'll now begin taking check-ins to the RAYNET-UK weekly activity net as usual in call sign number order, starting with any stations with figure 8 in their call wishing to check in. Please call now. G4NRC, over.
Golf 8 Echo Yankee G8 EEY, name is Mike.
Golf 8 Echo Yankee, good afternoon Mike. Any other 8s please, G4NRC, over. No more 8s, so let's have 7s. Stations figure 7 in that call sign please, G4NRC, over.
Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta, name is Stephen, Dame Valley Group.
Golf 7 November Echo Hotel G7NH, good afternoon Greg.
Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar, good afternoon Greg. Can you mark me in and out please?
G4NRC, so I've got Stephen, Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta, and Graham, Golf 7 November Echo Hotel staying with me. And good afternoon to you Dave, Mike 7 Alpha Victor Oscar, who's in and out. Any other 7s please, G4NRC, over. Think heard, so let's have 6s. Stations figure 6 in their call sign please, go ahead, G4NRC, over.
Mike 6 Golf Bravo Lima and 6 GBL Lucas here. In and out please.
Mike 6 Golf Bravo Lima, good afternoon again Lucas. And acknowledge you in and out, 7 3s to you, enjoy the rest of the weekend, what's left of it. Any other 6s please, G4NRC, over. G4NRC, nothing heard, so let's have 5s. Stations figure 5 in their call sign, please go ahead, over. RC, try again, G4NRC, nothing heard from the 5s, so let's have 4s. Stations figure 4 in their call sign, please go ahead, over.
G4NRC, G4KUJ, Trevor in Watford.
Golf 4 Hotel Uniform Foxtrot, Phil.
George 4 Echo Kilowatt Mexico, Steve Northumbria in it.
for NRC, so far I've got Trevor, Golf 4 Kilo Uniform Juliet, Phil, Golf 4 Hotel Uniform Foxtrot, and Steve, Golf 4 Echo Kilo Mike. Any other fours, please? G4 NRC, over.
G4KL.
G4KAL, good afternoon, Philip. Got you that time. Okay, let's go into 3. Stations figure 3 in that call sign, please go ahead, over.
Golf figure 3 Zulu Hotel X-Ray. Ian.
Golf 3 Zulu Hotel X-Ray, good afternoon, Ian. Any other threes, please? G4 NRC, over. G4 NRC, nothing heard from any more threes, so let's have twos. Stations figure 2 in their call sign, and that includes you intermediate twos. Please call now, over. For NRC, second call, any stations figure 2 in their call sign, including the intermediate twos. Please call now, over. G4 NRC, nothing heard, so let's have ones. Stations figure 1 in their call sign, please go ahead, over.
Golf 1 Foxtrot Mike Uniform, back in not so sunny Cornwall. Name is Keith.
Foxtrot Mike Uniform, good afternoon, Keith. Yes, it's not so sunny in Chester either. Lost where too slightly. Any other ones, please? G4 NRC, over. Nothing heard, so let's have Mike 0 stations of any regional secondary identifier, please, over. G4 NRC, second call for any Mike 0 stations of any regional secondary identifier, over. Nothing heard, so we'll go for Golf 0 stations of any regional secondary identifier, over.
Golf Whiskey 0 Juliet Lima X-Ray. Good afternoon, Greg. Name is Andy. RAYNET Pembrokeshire. So no traffic today. In and out, please. Over.
Whiskey 0 Juliet Lima X-Ray. Thanks for telling me that as usual, Andy, and copied you in and out. Do we have any UK stations who missed their turn to call in that wish to do so? If so, please call now. G4 NRC, over. G4 NRC, do we have any of our international colleagues on the talk groups today? That's usually Note-Samband of Norway, Aaron in Ireland, Aries in Slovakia, or Dares in the Netherlands. G4 NRC, over.
G4 NRC, Lima Alpha 6 India Mike. Good afternoon, Greg. In and out.
Lima Alpha 6 India Mike, Golf 0 G4 NRC. Good afternoon, Hans. Loud and clear as always, and copied you in and out. So, any UK or international stations who've missed their turn to call in, please call now. G4 NRC, over. G4 NRC, nothing heard. Okay, let's go for the usual starter. Graham G7NEH is live streaming the net to YouTube today. Welcome back, Graham. Past live streams and recordings are available by searching G7NEH, that's Golf 7 November Echo Hotel on YouTube, hitting the like and subscribe buttons so he knows that the service is appreciated. The main item today, planned anyway, was the aftermath of the National Emergency Alert Test. This year it seems to have worked on all mobile networks, just with some varying responses to garbled messages, but it will no doubt take a few days for the full picture to emerge. If your group did anything related to the test, then please let us know as we move around the list later. News in this morning regarding the proposal of an American satellite operator to use frequencies in the 70 centimetres band. The American regulator has provided a limited permission for just the first 20 satellites, the ones that are already built, to use that band, and only for a maximum of 24 hours at a time. I'm sure more will appear in the amateur news media over the coming week, but at first sight, none of the frequencies used, with their 50 kHz bandwidth, will conflict with RAYNET usage as far as I can see. A reminder to all groups with temporary repeater call signs to please log their use on the National Diary. Passing an event into the diary with your plans is needed for frequency coordination, but just as important is the after-action report where any issues or interference can be logged, but more importantly, it's also logged that the facility is being used, given we do have to defend this on an ongoing basis. And finally, a plea for any full licensee. A alternative net controller is needed for next Sunday the 14th. If one can't be found, then an announcement will be in Friday's news suggesting an ad hoc net instead. So with that should give you something to talk about. We'll start with Mike, Golf Echo Yankee, G4 NRC, over.
G4 NRC from G8 EEY. Good afternoon, Greg. Good afternoon, everybody else. Well, it's been quite a nice weekend, really, over here in North. 26 degrees here this afternoon. 1007 millibars. 46% relative humidity. 8% cloud cover, so quite sunny. But a fairly moderate breeze of 17 miles an hour from 149 degrees. Had an interesting day at Newark. Wasn't a great deal there to spark my interest. Managed to get a few items, but did see the largest bring and buy item that I've ever seen at any rally. Cambridge Hams had a Mercedes Sprinter with a scam mast in their camper van conversion, which was up for sale. Haven't seen anything quite that big before. I don't know how they got on Saturday because I went Friday. One thing to note that Bob 8SDU upgraded his CPS of his Anytone 878 last week. It's version 1. And he didn't notice that it managed to corrupt the data file and split different colour codes in transmit and receive, so he couldn't get on the net. So it's something to watch out for. I did get the alert here on my Samsung smartphone, but on a perfectly legitimate 4G non-smartphone, of course, nothing at all. And I wonder how many people have got cheaper phones for use out in the general, that they don't mind breaking or losing, rather than really expensive smartphones. But that's just my thought. From G8 EEY.
Echo Yankee, G4 and RC returning. Okay, I actually gathered I wasn't at Newark to buy anything. Did enough damage to the wallet earlier on in the year. Interesting about corrupted CPSs and systems, I'm trying to sort out Tristan Mike Whiskey 3 Victor Juliet November's hotspot, and I can't figure out what's going on with it. It's just not wanting to connect to a Wi-Fi network for me, and is very laggy, and it does feel like some corruption's got in there somewhere. I just can't find where. So yes, so I suppose the model here is upgrade but test everything afterwards. And with regard to the alert test, they were quite clear this time around it would work on 4G and 5G phones, but not older phones, 3G, 4G being due to be turned off soon, if not already. So I wonder whether that was part of the reasoning. If we can find out more on the next round. Okay, next to Stephen, Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC, this is Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta. A very good afternoon to all on the net. Yeah, received the alert at 1501 local. A bit of a delay on the network. Mine and my brother's phone are on the same network. He received it first, and then I received it next. So just as it trickles down the network, there's just a slight bit of delay, but received it nonetheless. And this week I've been introducing my cadets to DMR. So I've run a radio exercise with DMR radio on obviously on our MOD frequencies, but yeah, introduced them to the wonders of the digital side. Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta had a bit of a drop out there. Yeah, not a lot of them realised that they were using digital till I actually told them what they were using. But, they enjoyed the exercise, and we do have a couple of other exercises, but I'll save that.
Seven Victor Sierra Delta, G4NRC. You had another dropout again there, Stephen, so we lost everything. I have to save that. With that in mind, not the cadet activity in mind, I will have to have another look at the frequencies you provided to me when we were last together on an event and check that out against this use by AST Space Mobile. Because while the amateur service may slightly have dodged it other than a few repeaters, I'm not so sure you have. So I'll do a double check on that, hopefully as a multitask going around the net. Okay, let's go to Graham, G7NEH, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC, G7NEH, returning. Yeah, good afternoon, Greg. Good afternoon to all on the net. Apologies for the lack of a stream last week, as work took me away. So there we go. The week before, the net viewing figures were 38 views and 6 likes, which is good. And as Greg said in the intro today, if you are watching on YouTube, please hit that like button and the subscribe button. It's totally free, and it just shows us that the service is being used. Not a lot to report really. I did receive the emergency alert like Stephen at 1501, and yeah, weather here today has been fairly warm, but we've had rain most of the morning. It's stopped now. It looks to be brightening up. So there we go. Okay, not a lot to add from this end. So if you leave me out the next round, please, Greg. So back to you, G4NRC, G7NEH.
G7NEH, G4NRC returning. Okay, Graham, thanks for the information, and also equally continue to confirm the alert time is 1501. Yeah, I think it was a little later for most people. Picking up on Stephen's point, I'm not sure whether his brother's on a different network, but all our Vodafones here in this house did go off simultaneously, as you would hope they should, getting the same cell broadcast. So I can only presume there's a little bit of wriggle between the different networks when they kicked something off. And the rain, yes. Well, I'm glad I did my HF antenna work yesterday, because today would not have been the day to do that. It's been fairly persistent rain, trying not to say heavy, but a nuisance all morning. Notable it is kind of clearing up now. Okay, thanks Graham, thanks for doing the streaming. Copy is out on this one. I might give you a ping later. But let's go for Trevor. G4KUJ, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC, G4KUJ. Good afternoon, Greg and everybody else. Like you, our two phones on Vodafone at this end went off at 15:01 almost instantaneously. I think there may have been a fraction of a second between them, but I suspect that's processing time in the different phones. So that's all good. Not done much during the week on radio-wise. Report on the Arden firmware update is that the latest build has been running here for 3 weeks now with no problems whatsoever. And that includes the HP, the hat light. And just as an experiment, I've been running one of the nodes on Vodafone GSM MiFi. Happen to have a card with unlimited data on that, so that's been running for about 10 days very satisfactorily, so all good on that front. Apart from that, nothing further I don't think at the moment. Back to you, Craig, from G4KUJ.
For KUJ, G4NRC returning. One point I've got a query, Trevor, about using the Wi-Fi bridge to get an Arden network bridge back to something else. Whenever I try that from various hotel rooms, I can't do it for a sustained period, and something always wants to do an update. I'm wondering what the daily background usage is of Arden, just sitting there chattering to itself, keeping the routing tables updated. Possibly going through my mind is giving people at work a bit of hell about network bandwidth and how they estimate it. So just looking for the background chatter that goes on the system. Okay, now let's see if Phil got his new Marconi test set spectrum analyzer or other large toy. G4HUF, G4NRC, over.
This is G4HUF. Right, well, the prime toy I wanted was an RF signal generator. I mean, it would have been nice if they had a 2945 or a 2955 there, but I didn't see anything like that. But we did have a word with the the test equipment store, and I've had to order an RF signal generator, so I was quite happy about that. But she who must be decided to accompany me on this trip, and I know it wasn't to stop me from spending money. Although, having said that, after I'd said yes, I'll have one of those signal generators, she turned around to me and said, "Didn't you say you wanted one of those as well?" I said, "Well, it would be nice to have one of those." She said, "Do you want an early Christmas present?" So I'm afraid I've been spoilt. The amusing thing is that the signal generator wasn't available in stock from the stall. It's got to be posted to me in due course. But we ended up carrying away a spectrum analyzer, and I didn't pay for it. So as you can imagine, I was very happy about that. But at the same time, she is, as Greg and Graham and Stephen know, licensed herself, and would appreciate the benefits of it. So on that count, you could argue that you know, she's got it for her own benefit as well as for mine. Anyway, so that was the best part of being there on Friday, albeit that the journey down was a little bit painful. And of course, the other thing is that we had a quick look around, picked up a couple of bits off the RSGB stall. But funnily enough, when I pointed out an interesting set on the Martin Lynch stall, she said, "What do you need that for? Haven't you got enough radios?" Gee, 4H you have.
G4HU. Right again, G4HUF, G4NRC returning. You never have enough radios, except when you kind of start to get them all lined up on the desk. I am running out of some desk space here. Need to 3D print myself a load of handheld mounts, supports or otherwise, just to keep them all in order. Anyway, glad you managed to get yourself an early Christmas present, and a good kit as well from Rigel. So hopefully when everything arrives you can have full fun. The journey, yes, I probably didn't miss that, but I was watching some of the early videos from the fair, but most of them were pre-opening the doors, so I haven't looked to see if I could spot any of you on the TV yet. Anyway, glad you got what you went for, which is a good thing. Right, next with 4 to go so far, it's Steve, Golf 4 Echo Kilo Mike, G4NRC over.
Yeah, G4NRC, G4ETM. Yeah, good afternoon to everybody. Very overcast here, raining. The washing had to be brought in very quickly. Just on the emergency notifications there, I think mine came through just after 3 o'clock, and yeah, it doesn't matter what type of phone you're using, as long as you've got the SIM card in. Our two telephones are Oppo and Vivo, which are very, very popular in Southeast Asia, and they came through exactly the same time. Nearly jumped out of my skin because they were very, very loud. Normally I have the thing turned down as well, so that was quite good. I was just I put a remark on Facebook on the RAYNET group, the RAYNET forum, and I noticed somebody had an iPhone who hadn't had a SIM in, but he got a notification as well. So there you go. I'm not too sure how he's got his phone set up. With regards to Arden, I've been spending today upgrading all of my nodes to the latest version, 3.25.8.0, and there's only one I can't upgrade, which I knew I wouldn't be able to. That's just an internal Wi-Fi connection onto the system. But obviously, at the moment, all of the tunnels that I manage, they're all on the old one, and I'm just migrating across. I'm doing a test as the net is going on, just migrating those across to the new version of Babel. But yeah, it seems to be quite good. I'm going to alter as well one of the point-to-point links that I've got, an RF link, which goes from my QTH to one of the hills, probably about 2 or 3 miles away. I'm going to try that with the new point-to-point as well to see what happens. So that's about it from sunny Sunderland, or rainy Sunderland, as I should say, from G4ETM.
I am G4NRC returning. Okay, Steve, thanks for that. We're going to ask about where you're up to with Arden and how the whole of NetNet was going to sit for doing an upgrade to the new system. So you're moving the tunnels across to the new box, which should allow both the newer routing protocol and the old ones. That's great. I think the only legacy bit hanging around then is that at some point they want to deprecate the old tunnel protocols and move everything onto Wireshark. I'm not so sure about that in some ways, because Wireshark I thought was inherently encrypted, which would make life difficult for doing some things on other systems. But at least when I get a clue you've moved everything across, I've got a load of hoplites here and stuff. I'm just waiting for this to turn into full and final build that I nightly build, and then I'll be moving my stuff over, which would be another weekend's worth of work, just going through the update process. Interesting about the SIM cards, yes, this was a question that somebody posed online, whether or not, why didn't my British phone receive the alert when it was in France? Well, it's a cell broadcast, it'll hit any phone that the cells will talk to in the area, so it's good that it did actually wake up your phones with the overseas SIMs. Right, 3 to go, and it's Philip next. Golf 4 Kilo India Lima, G4 and RC, over.
G4 and RC, G4 KR. Yeah, thanks so much, Greg. Good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Yes, my phone went off at 1 minute past 3, so my wife's did as well. I did wonder actually whether it was the fact that it's a phone with 2 SIM cards in, whether that would affect it. So the main one was on Tesco, which is O2, I think. The second one is Vodafone, but it sounds like they were both 1 minute past 3 anyway. So I only got one alert, but it certainly worked. The other thing you probably picked up, Greg, from the earlier HF1, I made a brief appearance on the HFnet with a somewhat intermittent signal and then disappeared. I was trying to use the remote control to a club station, as you may have picked up from the report I put in, and the link dropped, and when I tried to put it back up again, it wouldn't properly reconnect. As I did have a discussion with somebody from the local club about it afterwards, and they said, well, it's a problem they've been experiencing a bit. It's something to do with the radio messing up the ports on the router and where the radio is located, or something like that. So they're getting a bit fed up of it, really. They're talking about changing to a different radio and different software. So we'll have to see what happens on that one. I'm unlikely to be up for the either the HFnet or this net next week. If I am, it will be, as it was /P. I'll be in Western-super-Mare at the time, and theoretically I could come remotely from using remote connections for both, but I may well be a bit busy or on the road or something at the time. Right, I'll let you go round, and I might think of something else to say next time round. I might not. G4 and RC, G4 KIL.
Attempt to see if the bridge opens this time. G4 KIL, G4 NRC returning, and yes, we have Brandmeister back with us this time. Okay, interesting. I hadn't thought what the effect would be of dual SIMs, but yes, whichever SIM's registered shouldn't really matter. If your if the radio in your phone is hearing a cell, it should respond to the cell broadcast. Your audio on the HF net was very broken, but was quite low down in the noise for me at that time of calling, but 60 metres was not the best place to be, I think, this week. I'll put some of the ionograms up on the HF list later, due to just the way propagation seemed to be working, and there was a bit of a real appearance of the E-layer to affect ranges about 20 minutes in, which didn't help either. Of course, the full fat American way of doing a remote control station would be to have your remote control station available over Arden, so that people could have their own data connections to it over the air and not touch the internet or anything else. But that will be a bit of a nirvana, I think, for some of us. Noted you, however, not up for either net next week due to an event. Yeah, I've not, and this is the heads up for M7VSD, I've been stood down from assisting staffs with their event next week. So, Stephen, it's just you, M7VSD, out on that one as far as I know. But I do have something else to do at 4 o'clock, so that's why I've got the net clash. So we'll see how we get on for covering the net next week. Okay, Ian, Golf 3 Zulu Hotel X-Ray, G4 and RC, over.
G4 and RC in the group, G3ZHX, good afternoon all. I'm still waiting for the emergency announcement here. Presumably if the balloon really does go up, I'm not going to be well survivable. However, we'll live. Well, maybe not. Who knows? And as regards the spectrum analyzer that Phil was talking about, a friend of mine tells me he once gave his dad a set of spanners for Christmas and then immediately borrowed them back and used them on his bike, which I think was his original intention. These things do happen. And apart from that, I'm not sure. Oh yes, Tristan's setup. I don't know if he told you, but I had my fingers in it for a while, and if you wish to discuss it after the net, I'd be happy to tell you what I think I did, and perhaps between us we might be able to dig into it enough to find out why, but I wouldn't bank on it. And I'll leave it there then, and I'll go back to standby till next time round, G3ZHX.
Zulu Hotel X-Ray, G4 and RC. Okay, I wasn't aware of that. So yeah, we'll have a quick chat post-net. I'm actually hitting the point now where it is being so resistant to change. I'm just going to do, if you like, a fresh install. Set it up with his details as far as I can glean them from the backup that he sent me, and see if it works any better, and then send him that back to re-upload. My head was, however, ringing with lies, damn lies, and statistics, because there are, let's see now, 11 of you actively checked in on the net, probably less than that actually. And if you were one out of around 8 or 9 that didn't receive it, then we might say that 10% of the country didn't get their emergency alerts. I'm not sure that's quite how it works out. But it's an interesting observation, Ian, that you haven't had your alert coming through, so if it's not your phone type, then I'm wondering whether you've got any service at all to make that bit happen. So that's why I said earlier it's going to take days, I think, for this to come out. So the fact the government secretary to somebody or other has already declared it a success seems a little premature. Right, we end this round with Keith, Golf 1 Foxtrot Mike Uniform, G4 and RC, over.
Right, okay, G1 FMU, back in his own QTH, and with sunshine streaming through the window, which is rather good. It's alright, we've got the house full of washing at the moment, having been away for a few weeks. The washing machine's been on overtime. We've run out of space stacking stuff, but hopefully this bit of sunshine and gentle breeze will get it all back and into the wardrobes ASAP, which is fine. The alert signal made its way over the Tamar into Cornwall, and both myself and my good lady received it via EE at 1 minute past 3. So the times are fairly consistent. I'm not sure what I'd do if I got the emergency alert to say the end of the world is nigh. To be honest, I think I'd probably sooner not know about it. Okay, sorry for the time out there, but I'll just listen for the rest of the net, and thank you very much for allowing us to do the test on a weekly basis. Catch you next week, G1 FMU in Cornwall.
1 Foxtrot Mike uniform. Okay, copied that and copied you out on this one, Keith. When you picked your day to do the washing, there's sufficient wind energy around from midnight last night through till 4 o'clock today. I've barely been paying for electricity because of the tariff I'm on. They've even paid me to do stuff. So you've picked your moment, whereas around here we were stuck under that most of that band of rain all day. So it has helped. Okay, no problem with that. Now we have Peter, Golf Juliet 8 Papa Victor Lima, quickly chip in there, so I wonder when if he's listening or wants to come in at the end of the net before I start the second round. Golf Juliet 8 Papa Victor Lima, G4 NRC, over.
Yeah, good afternoon, Greg, and good afternoon to everybody on the frequency this afternoon. Yeah, just to quickly report in, because we don't come on the net every week now, but a couple of weeks ago we provided all the comms for Gory Fate, and this coming week, on Thursday, we're going to be providing the comms for our local air display. So they're going to use up about 50 of our radios. So we've got some up at the airport, some down on the avenue where they actually have the display, and we've now got a fixed commercial repeater up so that they can talk directly from the airport down to the town where the display is. So that's something we've managed to do there. Other than that, everything's okay. We've got 2 new members which are joining us, both technical guys, although one of them isn't, well, both of them aren't licensed yet, but they're about to try and get their foundations. So, but they're one of them is into AV and Wi-Fi, and the other one is he runs a TV and radio business. One of the things that we've been asked to do for the bonfire coming on the 1st of November is that at events, because there's so many people, thousands of people there that attend in Jersey, they can't get their sum-ups to work. So they've asked us if we can provide some sort of Wi-Fi communication with hotspots and things or access points around, which we can run off our satellite system. So we shall try that and see if it improves it, so that all the vendors can use their sum-ups and also the people in the box office. Right, that's about it from me for the moment. I'll pass it back to you. G4 NRC from GJ8 PVL in the group.
Golf Juliet 8 Papa Victor Lima, G4 NRC returning. Okay, in reverse kind of order. You're guessing that's what card terminals will be, as you say, your Starlink satellite stuff and a normal Wi-Fi set of networks kicking around the area. So, yeah, not on amateur frequencies. Before anybody listening starts. But otherwise, yeah, okay, good progress. 2 new members as well. I have been keeping an eye on some news vaguely Channel Islandy, but not your island, but more Sark, who seem to be having some great struggles with their power network on the island. The idea of paying £1.13 per kilowatt hour of electricity because of a bit of a tiff between the chief pleas and the electricity operator doesn't look like it makes it a fun place to be at the moment. So yeah, okay, it's nice to hear things are going well on Jersey. Right, I go down the list for one more time and see if I remember anything I have to say that I haven't said already. Golf 8 Echo Echo Yankee, you're first. Did you respond to Liam directly to his request? Golf 8 Echo Echo Yankee, G4 NRC, over.
G4 NRC from G8EY. Actually, I can't remember. I'd have to look. I certainly read through it, and I thought there were some funnies between the financial aspects of things, but I'll check anyway. Yeah, I've got both phones here. The Samsung is a smartphone on 4G. The other one is an AGEM, which is a basic phone on 4G. The basic didn't respond. The smartphone had gone off after doing an upgrade, and it's interesting to see that I fired the phone up again about 3:10, and it promptly gave me the alert. So even if the phone's off, it does seem that it stores the alert, or at least accesses it. A couple of nets ago, when we had the Brandmeister and Pi-Star funnies, I had to reprogram 3 Pi-Stars. The last one I had to start again with a brand new SD card, and it's joined the woke community. It responds to the Pi-Star, that I call it, and it self-identifies as something else. And it's the one I'm using today, so I have no idea anymore. And way back in the distant past, I remember buying an HP 141T spectrum analyzer, Hewlett-Packard, and attempting to carry it half a mile to where the car was parked. Gave up, sat on the pavement and waited for the driver to pick me up. Thanks for running the net, Greg. Look forward to hearing from somebody next week. From G8EEY.
Echo Yankee, G4NRC returning. Yes, I did seem to note some correlation between test gear getting lighter and then people starting to go to the gym more. You didn't need to go to the gym when you had test gear of a certain calibre. That was for sure. Okay, yes, I do believe the alerts do get sent for, I think it's up to an hour on cell broadcast. Just in case anybody is out of range, they do pick them up as soon as they can, stealing pretty much what used to happen on paging. Okay, yeah, well, we'll see what happens next week at this rate. So 7-3 to you. Stephen, on a quick look through, I think one of your frequencies might be on the edge of the 50 kilohertz, but not too sure. So, Seliger, that's the way it is. The Americans have decreed this is perfectly acceptable for anybody as long as it's outside the US. Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta, G4NRC, over.
G4NRC, this is Mike 7 Victor Sierra Delta. Yeah, well, we'll have to wait for something from our official channels to say that there's going to be interference. I mean, we do have primary use of it over here in this country, so but we'll have to wait for what the official channels are going to say anyway. Exercise-wise, 2 exercises we have on the cadet side. We have exercise Cloud Warmer, which is a new one. That's running from 1st of September to 31st of December. There's 2 5 megahertz frequencies on that exercise that are in the shared portions. You could find us on 5354 and 5365. So that's exercise Cloud Warmer. Happens on parade evening timings. Just looking through the document now for the times. 1945 to 2000 local. So that's every evening that happens, so you might catch us on there. And we also have exercise at Blueham, the Saturday the 18th of October and Sunday the 19th of October. So plenty of HF radio activity going on at the minute, over.
Seven Victor Sierra Delta, G4NRC returning. Yeah, I did try to ask somebody whether MOD were aware of what was going on in this proposal, because this is not the first time an American satellite's used our bit of 77s. The only administration that actually took any action, however, was the Germans, who banned them from using the frequencies where they may affect Germany. So we're waiting for the full ramifications of this to fall out. I've said I've seen the initial FCC posting permitting it, and given the, I think it's fair to say thousands, when it was over 2,000 amateur responses from all over the planet back to the FCC, they were perfectly aware of how much of a nuisance this was likely to be. Hence it does seem rather restricted that it is just for 24 hours in an emergency, like if they lose control of their satellite. and only for the first 20 which have already been built. So they are being encouraged to be somewhere else, and that's a good thing. Okay, Stephen, good luck with next weekend. So I need to be somewhere else at 4 o'clock, but I will have to see what to do, whether I get a chance earlier on in the day to listen in between other things going on like the HFnet. And thanks for the information on the ATC exercises, which aren't the ATC anymore, I know. Phil can correct me later. Right, Trevor, back to you. G4KUJ, G4NRC, over.
Excuse me, G4NRC in the group, G4KUJ. Yeah, okay, that's 3 points I think I've got. To you on usage of the Arden node through the DSM, I've just had a look. In close proximity, picks up the Wi-Fi link to the to that node, other than the Wi-Fi link in the house, just because it's closer. So I've been using that for normal internet access as well, but it's been quite stable. Second to Steve, I did check in after you mentioned it to you via Greg, which will work very fine, and I could see the DW2 and so on. And clicked onto that and got through to your latest firmware over there, so that was all good as well. And WireGuard, I think, is what Greg meant regarding the links. I think he said Wireshark or something, Greg, which is the thing to find out your IP routes, I believe. And okay, when you've done the new aerial, or the extended aerial, I'll try and be on tomorrow night to see if it's made any difference between you and I, and see how the link to Peter's going. Apart from that, nothing further. Back to you from G4KUJ.
G4KUJ, G4NRC. Yeah, Trevor, you had a dropout, so lost everything at the end of item 1 after GSM, so it didn't actually copy your usage, just got the tail end of that saying it had all been stable for use in the house. Did you have a clue of the usage, over?
Yes, it's used 2 gigs in about 10 days, but that does include internet access, because my iPhone connects to it on the 2.4 gig link on the WAN, on the the WLAN on the node, and it's been doing internet traffic as well. But it's been quite happy and it's not dropped out at all. And when I've tested it during the 10 days, Greg, go ahead.
G4NRC, fantastic. Right, log that one down now, so thanks for that, Trevor. Sorry, now I'm multitasking myself before I go to Phil, so just doing a quick check. So at 15:01, after doing the alerts, I sent an SMS message out to all my group asking whether or not they would be available to respond within 2 hours now that the alert has gone off, to go and somewhere and play situational awareness. Out of the 13 people it was sent to, 2 haven't yet responded, and of those who did respond, 9 were yes and 2 were no. Most of the yeses cropped up in the first 5 minutes of immediately after me sending the message out, which was useful. Some others may only have responded because I gave a prompt out on WhatsApp to see whether or not the SMS messages hadn't sent. So that was a RAYNET-linked alert test for West Cheshire, and I was also keeping an eye on Merseyside, who were testing their PMR system, and I unusually couldn't hear anything of that, which was unusual given the location on top of Liverpool Cathedral, but they did at least get 5 check-ins on that. So it looks like groups have been flexing stuff using the alert as a trigger. Okay, G for HUF, G for NRC, over.
This is G4HUF. Right, okay. Well, before I forget, Ian, I don't think I need to worry about Patricia borrowing the spectrum analyzer back in that regard. She might hijack it and use it as emotional blackmail, but I don't think she'll nick it for her own use. What would be a bigger problem is the Sunday meal crowd, whether they would want to borrow it, and once they borrowed it, how long would they hang on to it? But I'm sure that will not be an issue either. Well, ironically, Pat was saying to me this afternoon, are you going to take it when we go down to Bruce's for tea? Are you going to take it with you? I still haven't made up my mind on that one. It might be a case of I'll put it in the car, and if people are interested, then I'll get it out. But if they're not bothered, then I'll leave it where it is. So that's the situation there. Test notification, we got ours. I'm afraid I was in the shower when ours went off, so I missed the exact timing. But I did see a report on the Manchester Evening News that somebody was complaining that they didn't get theirs for 15 minutes after the official time. What's the other thing I was going to mention? Oh yes, weather conditions. Well, the weather report on the Manchester ATIS from the airport, which is only a couple of miles away from us, was showing 19 degrees, 5 knots from the southwest, and a pressure of 1,004. We did have a fair bit of rain earlier on, but it is drying out. You can actually see some a bit of sunshine as well, which is obviously helping too. So that's the state of play as far as this lot's concerned. And Pat's giving me regular updates on the collapse of the South African batting in the last ODI. And it looks as though South Africa are being frapped at the moment because they've already lost 7 wickets. I think she said it was 49 for 7 then. So guess what I'll be doing as soon as this net closes down? From G4HUF.
G4HUF, G4NRC returning. Okay, I'm just going to say don't take the gear anywhere near them. Not even putting it in the boot of the car. You'll never see it again, Phil. Or if you do, it'll be out on Bruce's table and just be testing every radio they can find just to see if they can beat it. So, yeah, easy one, don't. Okay, noted the timings, and yes, of course, everybody thinks radio is a 100% coverage medium, and there's even blind spots for cell phones. So I suppose it's not unreasonable to say that some people could have been in a bit of a no-go zone for cell phones and wouldn't have got the cell broadcast until they came out into the light 15 minutes later. But yes, I'm going to note there's probably going to be more people saying it failed than is actually the case in reality. Nobody complains when something works, they only complain when it doesn't work. Anyway, thanks for coming on to the net. Your hint is noted. We've got 4 left to go before we can pull stunts on this one, so we'll move on. 7-3 Phil, and we go to Steve. Golf 4 Echo Kilo Mike, G4 and RC over.
Yeah, G for when I'll say G for ETM. Yeah, I've just like I say, I've been doing some movement across the tunnels with a couple of my devices. The one I've got downstairs here, and the one over in the Philippines. Unfortunately, I've lost connection to the one in the Philippines because I'm actually on the same device I use for the tunnels, the ordinary tunnels, the old tunnels. I'm doing it with the wire guard as well. You can have them both working together by the looks of it, but I'm going to have to try and jump on one of my devices over in the Philippines to get onto it locally. What I might do, Greg, I will set you up on this as well, and I'll send you a message with the various keys, etc., just to see if it's working on your side. That's going to be later on today, though. I want to try and get this working, make sure it is working correctly. 73's all, nice to talk to you, and catch you in on. This is G for ETM.
Mike, G for an RC returning. There we go. Okay, no problem. Yes, if you send me something through tonight, I might be able to get around to doing something with it. I've had the shock horror realisation I've got a new starter at work tomorrow, so I need to do what I would normally do on a Monday morning tonight before I go into the office. So, yeah, I will switch tunnels over and let you know how it goes as soon as I can. I am running both protocols, however. I have been with Trevor for some time as we explored this early. Okay, 7-3's to you. Thanks for coming on the net today, Steve, and thanks for keeping NetNet going. Philip, Golf 4 Kilo India Lima, G4 and RC over.
Yeah, G4RC, G4KIL. Yeah, thanks everybody. I don't think I've got any more comments this time. So hopefully speak to you all in a couple of weeks' time, assuming I don't make it next week. See you threes, and speak to you all later. G4KIL next year.
G4 NRC returning. Okay, Philip, thanks for that. I think I'm enjoying the net, just running on a little bit, because now basketball season started, we are going to go back into contended times again, and I will have to proceed the net, not just with Graham is doing the streaming, but also I need to be gone by 4:45. So enjoying this for the while it lasts. Okay, 7-3 to you. See you in a couple of weeks' time. And Ian, yes, we will have a quick chat post-net. Golf 3 Zulu Hotel X-Ray, G4 and RC.
Yeah, G4 and RC of the group, G3ZHX. I've just been looking at my phone. It says it prefers 3G data, and it's just possible there is no 3G cell here. I can't actually figure out how to tell what it's connected to. It's obviously connected to something. I'm assuming it falls back to GSM, because I did a test the other day, and in order to keep the SIM alive, and it transmitted and received fine an SMS. So yeah, it could be if it's not actually on 3G, that data probably isn't going to be transmitted. I used to work with mobile phones, and I never actually got my fingers into the stuff that the cells are transmitting. There's an awful lot of information being transmitted in addition to the customer data, and some modules will allow you to access it, but I don't think any of the modules we used did. However, that's by the by, and probably no interest to anybody else but you. So I will sign now, G3ZHX, going back to standby, and I'll listen for your call after the net. G3ZHX, and thanks for running the net. G3ZHX, back to standby.
3 Zulu Hotel X-Ray, G0DUB, sorry, G4 and RC returning. I need a drink. Right, so if your phone, I don't think it's down to what data service it provides, but certainly they were quite clear, given that 3G is pretty much getting turned off, if it's not already been turned off by most suppliers, and GSM in the form of 2G is meant to be going in the next few months max as well. Then it was only 4G and 5G cell sites that were sending out the cell broadcast. So that could be your reason. So, okay, yeah, we'll leave a couple of minutes post-net just so Graham can click the stop button on the YouTube stream, and then I'll give you a shout. Thanks for that. And Peter, this then has the leading question I was going to ask last time round. I forgot. The emergency alert test for the UK, I'm guessing, doesn't include Jersey and Guernsey Telecom, with your base stations down there, but I wasn't too sure. Golf Juliet 8, Papa Victor Lima, G4 and RC, over.
Yeah, hi Greg. No, we didn't receive any alerts down here at all. We're on different systems to the UK. We have three companies, Airtel, Vodafone, Shaw, and our Jersey Telecoms. And recently, Airtel Vodafone has been taken over by Shaw, so we've now only got two companies. And my network that I use was on Airtel Vodafone, so yeah, I think it's just going to be dropped eventually, and then our SIM cards will have to be changed over to the Shaw ones. What's going to happen with the actual sites, I don't know if they're keeping them or getting rid of them, but I may have to swap providers in the end. We've got an exercise coming up in the next few weeks with emergency services. I believe it's a simulated plane crash, so I haven't heard anything more from them, but we are supposed to be taking part in it. And the weather here today, it's been very cloudy this morning. Then lunchtime we had some rain, and now it's actually sunny with about 75% blue and 25% clouds in the sky. And our barometer is rising. It's gone up about 5 millibars from this morning there. That's about it from me for the moment, so I shall pass it back to you from GJ8PVL.
G4 and RC returning. Okay, Peter. Yes, Shaw does have a habit of buying up the opposition. Again, I don't know why I get occasionally affinity with Ireland Life, but I was watching what was going on down at the Falklands and St Helena, where the communications monopoly of Shaw is slowly getting challenged by Starlink and others, and causing a little bit of mischief. But okay, and okay, on the exercise with the simulated plane crash, you reminded me of something. If we'd had a truly slow news day, our South African colleagues were involved with a nuclear power plant exercise recently, which is something we wouldn't normally associate ourselves with in this country, given the way things are organised. But they made it plain what they were there for, and it was that situational awareness thing again. So I must dig into that a little further sometime and do a better write-up of what they do down in South Africa. Okay, with that we will bring it to a close after a bit of a marathon net. So thanks everybody for taking time out to participate this afternoon. Be careful, have a good week, and until next Sunday afternoon at 1600 local time, if we can get a alternative net controller, or it'll be an ad hoc net if not. Then I'll close the RAYNET-UK weekly activity net on talk groups 23531, Pheonix and Brandmeister, and 50233531 on the RAYNET-UK system, and return those talk groups to being an open net rather than a directed net. 730, this is G4 and RC now closing, and reversing to my normal call sign of course 0, Delta Uniform Bravo. Bye-bye.